everyone, it's Debbie from Live, Love, Beach to Bay. I've got a really different topic today to talk about, and it's really all about the mortgage, industry, the mortgage forecast, where we are as we begin to look towards the very end of 2024, and really what does 2025 hold for all of us. So obviously as a real estate professional, the mortgage industry is one that is extremely interesting to me. Obviously, it affects my business each and every day, but it really also affects all of you and your purchasing power, what you're thinking about, what you are not thinking about from a standpoint of rates, etc., and how this really all adds up. So just as a reminder, I'd love for you to subscribe to my channel. I add new content once or twice per week. The content is really designed to educate, inform, inspire all of you on what life is like in Coastal Delaware, and whether you are considering buying, investing, or pausing or thinking or just noodling over, a home or something, in that arena. The mortgage industry and what's going on with the rates is of interest to, I believe, everyone. So let's do a really quick recap on 2024. Despite the really spike in rates and the elevated, interest rates that you all were kind of wrapping your arms around, and all of my customers were, toying with, noodling over, swallowing hard over, and in certain cases just saying, no, absolutely not. I'm not going to consider that. Home prices did continue to move forward in 2024. Specifically in Coastal Delaware, we experienced another lift in the average home price, regardless, really irregardless or regardless, depending on how you like to say that, of where the rates were for all of 2024. Demand remained strong and inventory remained tight. And what we've really seen in the last several months, really the last 60 days, is inventory is beginning to expand, grow. We are certainly not back to pre-pandemic levels, but we are certainly seeing additional homes enter the MLS, come onto the market for sale, and we are seeing days on market go a little bit longer, meaning that homes are sitting a little bit longer before they do get that accepted offer and a sales price that meets the needs of the seller and obviously satisfies the needs of the buyer. What we're also seeing is many a buyer is opting for a smaller home, or sometimes even opting for a home that needs a little TLC, because there can be a bit more navigating or negotiating from a standpoint of offer price, accepted sales, contract price, and things like that. What I can tell you is completely, I wouldn't call it dead in the water, but I would say that it is nearly at a standstill, and that is the refinance aspect of the mortgage business. So what I can tell you is no one is refinancing, because obviously they'd be refinancing for a higher rate. So even if a homeowner has got some significant equity in their home and might be looking at a HELOC, a home equity loan, and something like that, that is really not happening, because the foreboding interest rates are really discouraging a whole lot of refinancing. So when we think about the 2025 market, I get asked this every time someone hears that I'm in real estate, whether they think I'm a real estate agent or a real estate administrative individual or a broker, etc. Doesn't matter what they think I do. The minute they hear real estate, they'll say to me, what do you think the market's going to do next year? Are prices going to come down? Are rates going to come down? And I can say with convincing honesty or conviction, better way to put it, conviction and passion, home prices are not coming down. They are going to level off, and we all expect that the increase, price appreciation, is going to slow, moderate and slow, but it is not going to stop. So the equity you have today in a home will continue to grow tomorrow, and it will grow every tomorrow beyond that. So regardless of what all of the economic indicators and the experts and individuals with much fancier degrees than I have, remember I've got the art degree, I can honestly tell you from everything I've read, everything I've heard, everything I'm actually absolutely being exposed to, home prices are going to continue to go up, albeit at a far more moderate level than they have in the past. They will still go up. So what does that mean for me? What does that mean for you? What does that mean for someone who's really, wants to put their toe in the pond, whether it's first home, second home, investment home, vacation home, forever home? I can tell you that we've got an expression: marry the home and date the rate. Okay? If you absolutely love the home and you can afford the mortgage payment, buy the home. You will have absolutely every opportunity to consider refinancing down the road. And there are other, conversations we're going to have later in this video when I'll even talk about adjustable rate mortgages, which is something that I hadn't heard a lot about over the last several years, but they're making a comeback. And the reason they're making a comeback is because, for that exact reason, we want you to marry the home you love. And we want you to, if you can, and if you can afford to, and if you qualify for it, we want you to date the rate. So let's go back to that housing forecast. I jumped ahead and started talking about rates and marrying the home and dating the rate. The other thing that is an absolute fact and a very, very definitive fact here in Sussex County, Coastal Delaware, is that new home building is catching up. An awful lot of new home building going on. In a recent video where I talked about buying existing homes or buying new construction, talked about the fact that there are, knocking on the door of 90 new home construction communities in Sussex County. One of those home communities might be right for you. I'd love to help you find that home. But I can tell you that home building is catching up with that gap in available homes. And right now, 30% of all homes sold in 2024 were new construction. That is a very significant number, and we expect that number to either be a constant or even grow in 2025 because an awful lot of new construction is going on, not just here in Sussex County, Coastal Delaware, but really nationwide. So the other thing that we've seen is a remix of what does the home buyer demographic look like. And when you think about Coastal Delaware, and a lot of people are just always think, oh, Coastal Delaware, that's where all the retirees move. Well, nothing could be farther from the truth. So there is an unbelievable mix of first-time buyers. Yes, there are certainly wonderful reasons why, if you're getting to those golden years of your career and you're thinking about that forever home, that final destination, Delaware really checks all the boxes. But there are a lot of reasons why a wide array of demographics are considering Coastal Delaware, and this might truly be right for you as well. And that's really very true of the housing industry nationwide, that there are an awful lot of different demographics driving home buying right now. And one that actually makes me smile is that an awful lot of first-time home buyers are women. And I think that that is a wonderful acknowledgement that home buying is available to each and every one of us nationwide and is inclusive. Let's call it an inclusive opportunity. So let's talk about that mortgage. I really wanted to focus this video on housing opportunities, what's going on at the end of 2024, really what does that forecast look like for 2025. So let's talk about the mortgage industry. I wish I had a Ouija board. I wish I had a crystal ball. I wish I could literally look into the future and tell you exactly what's going to go on in 2025. I can tell you that I'm filled with optimism. So it's been a bit of a journey in 2024, lots of ups and downs, lots of disappointments for an awful lot of home buyers who were truthfully priced out of buying a home and really had to rethink, put on hold, pause, that piece of the American dream that I think should be available and present to anyone who would really chooses to chase that dream. But I believe that in 2025, and this is on the heels of all that I read, all that I listen to, and all that I'm exposed to in an industry that has a whole lot of experts in it, that mortgage rates will come down. Are we ever going to see those unbelievable rates of 3 and under? Not anytime soon. And when I say not anytime soon, absolutely not in 2025, probably not in 2026, and for gosh sakes, 2027 sounds like forever away. But let's really talk about 2025. we absolutely expect that we will continue to move into the mid to lower sixes. And there are many, an economist and mortgage expert and economic indicators that might even see at some point in 2025 that the rate will begin with a 5. I think that would be outstanding. I actually believe that if we could get consistently to the mid to low sixes, we would have a huge lift in first-time home buyers as well as individuals, kind of pulling that equity out of the home that they're in today and really thinking about a home in coastal Delaware, a vacation home, an investment home, a forever home, down the road. So there is absolutely cause for encouragement, cause for excitement, and really cause for a little bit of joy that we may be moving towards a more affordable and inviting interest rate. But I'm going to say it again, okay? What you're not going to get is home price decreases. You're not going to get a reduction in the home price. So if you can, marry the home, date the rate. I'm going to repeat that a couple more times before this video is finished, that homes are going to get more expensive. Not more expensive like that, but they're definitely going to continue to move slowly forward. And if the rates start to move slowly downward, you might see that home pricing escalation move a little higher, a little faster, and with a little more, velocity. Love the home, marry it, date the rate, and figure out how to refinance down the road. ARMs. I talked about it a little bit ago. An ARM is the acronym for adjustable rate mortgage. And there are a myriad of packages and programs and different ARMs out there. I'm not a mortgage expert, although it's something I'm considering in 2025, considering becoming a mortgage broker as well. I would love to just offer another service to my potential clients. And I'd also like to be more educated and informed. So stay tuned, more to come on that. But what I can tell you about an ARM is everything that has been shared with me. It is just that, an adjustable rate mortgage. It starts at one rate and it moves up and down, typically on an annual basis or a biannual basis, depending on the program that you're in, based on all of the other indicators that go into mortgage rates. It's a lot that I today don't completely understand, whether it's the federal treasury bonds, whether it's the inflation, data points, etc., whatever. I mean, it's bigger than I am. And although I'm not that big, it is certainly much bigger than I am what determines mortgage rates. What I can tell you is that an adjustable rate mortgage can typically bring down your initial payments. There's obviously a risk involved, depending on what would happen down the journey of that adjustable rate mortgage and when those rates would adjust and what would happen. But I will say it again, if it allows you to marry the home, date the rate at a slightly lower level because it's an adjustable rate mortgage, it might be the right fit for you. I would invite you again, don't consult Debbie on mortgages today, maybe down the road, but consult a mortgage expert, someone who can guide you, advise you, and absolutely educate you on what the best mortgage program is for you. There's also, if you are a first home buyer, there's FHA opportunities. If you are a veteran, first off, thank you for your service, but there's also wonderful veterans programs as well. So there really are a lot of different channels and avenues to get into a home that I'm not sure everyone does the due diligence and explores as well as they should. If home ownership is what you are looking for, do the due diligence, because there is probably a program that is perfect for your financial situation and housing needs. So one of the things that's important to know about, considering coastal Delaware for that second home, vacation home, investment home is just that. Is this an investment home? Is this something that you would be looking to derive a revenue stream from? And what's that revenue stream going to look like? What I can tell you is that the investment property vacation home rental arena is thriving in coastal Delaware. And while this got a huge boom during COVID, when people were really looking for drivable destinations and places to escape to and places to even remote work to, I can tell you that there is a thriving investment vacation home business revenue stream here in Delaware. I would say that the primary markets for that would be Lewis, Rehoboth, and Dewey. But I will tell you that even the quieter destinations like Bethany and Fenwick are really growing exponentially with individuals wanting to come here for a full week. Besides the unbelievable beaches and all of the coastal activities, we've got great golf courses, we've got great wineries, we've got great festivals. It's just a great vacation destination that really is so attractive to the entire Mid-Atlantic corridor. But you're going to find people that vacation here in coastal Delaware who drive from Connecticut, who drive from Massachusetts, who drive from, upstate New York, who drive from Western PA, who drive from West Virginia, etc. So this is really a thriving area that I would absolutely invite you to consider as a investment opportunity. Maybe you take several weeks for yourself, your family, your friends, and then consider what does the rest of the year look like from a standpoint of investment opportunities. The other thing that is really changed significantly in the nearly decade that I've owned my home here is this is becoming, say, 12-month resort, but it is certainly an area that gets an awful lot of interest in the fall, in the holidays, in the early spring. And I've mentioned a time and again, is that so many of the communities are now doing off-season events, whether they're off-season running events, whether it's the Fire and Ice Festival in January in Bethany, or it's the Sea Witch Festival in Rehoboth, or the Doodle Festival in Dewey, or all of so many other kinds of activities that are making coastal Delaware nearly a year-round destination. So put the golf clubs in the car, put the doodle in the car, and get ready to have an unbelievable off-season time. And an investment property can really yield you and your family an awful lot of additional revenue. So moving very close to my final thoughts, but I really did want to talk about, again, 2025 is going to be the year for the buyer because rates are going to get better. Housing prices are not going to rise dramatically, although they are certainly not going to come down. Not only is it going to be a great year for buyers, but it's going to be a good year for sellers because with more buyers, putting their toes back in the sand, literally, and considering coastal Delaware, you're going to see sellers that are absolutely going to consider listing their properties and enjoying top dollar for their home as they absolutely should. I think there's another, maybe quiet movement that we're also going to begin to see get legs and maybe even catch a wave, and that's going to be the refinancing. If we really do see, and I do expect that rates will begin to moderate and go into the low sixes, and then, oh my goodness, if we get into the fives, I do think that you're going to see some refinancing. There were still, 4 million homes sold nationwide in 2022, 2023, 2024. So you've got 12 million homes. I'm not saying every one of those homes was a mortgage purchase, but an awful lot of those homes were mortgages. And if we really do see and enjoy rates that dip back into the fives, high fives, moderate fives, low fives, I do believe that the refinancing is going to be another big opportunity. And when people do refinance, they do consider, what are they going to do with those savings? They might take those savings and consider buying the vacation home, buying the second home, because their monthly expenditures may come down so appreciably that they can say, oh my goodness, I can buy a second home. Final thoughts. 2024 was a tough one, okay? I'm really fortunate that I had a successful year, but it was not without some highs and lows. And absolutely one of the significant lows is having conversations with potential buyers and or sellers that were not getting the results that they wanted to because of the mortgage rates. So I'm really cautiously optimistic that 2025 is going to course correct that. And for those sellers sitting on the fence because they didn't feel that the rates were advantageous enough to encourage buyers to come to their home, I believe they're going to get off the fence and really put their homes back into play. For buyers, the same thing is true. The buyers that have been sitting on the fence that have been unable to commit because the rates were just something they could not comfortably swallow, either emotionally or financially. So I think that there's going to be a lot of benefits there. Refinancing, we've talked about that a bit. So I am so optimistic about 2025, but we haven't shut the door on 2024. So I'm going to say it again. You love the home, marry the home, date the rate. Okay. And if you would like someone to help you marry the home and date the rate, you know how to get in touch with me. But more importantly, since this is all about education, consider subscribing. Content added weekly, bi-weekly. It's meant to encourage you to know all about Coastal Delaware. Any topics that you'd like me to add, I'm always open to suggestions or pokes, etc. So what does Debbie do in Coastal Delaware? I live here. I play here, I work here, and I thrive here. And if that is something you'd like to know more about or just chat with me about, you know how to find me. Thanks, everyone. Take care.